I think we have a lot of promise with this roster, and I think once we get our foot on the gas and stop messing up these little rounds and these 3v1s and the 2v1s, and we stop letting people clutch on us, I think we'll be very good heading into split one.
Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering VCT Americas KICKOFF. I'm here accompanied by Trent of G2 Esports, who are just coming off a 2-1 victory over Sentinels, but as a result of map differential, find themselves out of playoffs and the competition in its entirety. So, Trent, like I said before, thank you so much for taking the time. And as I said also before, G2 is no longer in the running towards contending for a spot at Masters Madrid. But so, how are you taking in this elimination from your end?
It definitely sucks, but you either win or you learn. There's no losing here, so take what you get, and we're just gonna build off this and fix our little mistakes, fix the little things that went the other team's way. Not let them get these swing rounds and lose these 3v1s or 2v1s, and just try to close out those rounds. I think the games will start going towards our way.
Yeah, and it was quite an eventful day for you and also NIBR and Sentinels due to the fact that you guys had to play two matches back to back up until like the very late night of this day at the time of the recording. And yeah, taking a look at the team's overall performance today, what do you feel kind of went wrong that kind of ultimately led to the team's elimination from this competition?
I think against MIBR, we kind of just, like I said before, we kind of just gave them some swing rounds. Lost the crucial rounds that we needed to win. Yeah, gave them some clutches that shouldn't have happened, and the 2v1s, 3v1s, whatsoever. And against Sentinels in the first map, because it's really the only map that mattered, we had a good defense half, and then for attack, we just couldn't figure out the retakes that they were doing. We couldn't really come together with a good plan that would kill that. And so, coming off of that, we're just going to learn because nothing else to do. We're just going to learn and come back better for split one.
Yeah, as you said, the first map of that match against Sentinels was really the only one that really mattered because of due to the fact that they won, that then that kind of pulled them towards playoffs due to map differential. And yeah, you sort of touched upon the second half with them being on defender's side and just kind of winning every round on that half. What do you think kind of went wrong for the team from that point on? Because, in the first half, you guys were ahead 8-4, but, such as the rest. So what do you think went wrong there?
Yeah, I mean it was pretty much just their retakes. I think they diffused the bomb every single round. So it wasn't the IGLing, it wasn't the calling. We had very good calling from Valen. He got us to the sites every single time with an advantage or just even numbers, and it was just a team-wide mistake that we couldn't really handle their retakes, and we couldn't really come together to formulate a plan that would beat it. And that's really just what killed us there.
Do you think the comp that Sentinels brought out, which is the first time that they brought such comp, such as the Gecko and the KO and other agents such as Omen, Cypher, and Race, do you feel that kind of was a major contributing factor for G2 not being able to just win that first map?
Yeah, it's sort of a gimmick comp. They didn't play Sunset at all in the beginning of the tournament, so we had to go into that map blind, and seeing that comp and just not knowing their game plan on their defense, it's always super rough to go against a gimmick comp on defense. And yeah, we just couldn't find a plan to formulate against it.
Yeah, and were you guys in the know that basically due to losing that first map, your chances for qualifying for playoffs was over? Did that kind of thing struck your mind in the later stages of that series?
Yeah, we pretty much all knew, so it kind of just we still took in and we're trying to win because we all have competitive integrity. We're all trying to win. We're all competitive, and so we're still trying to win. and we came out with the W. But we were all just like super loose, taking gunfights, just having fun and playing together, and just playing another scrim pretty much, just on stage in front of a lot of people. So it was just good experience for us, and trying to trying to lock down and just gain some experience and still take that into split one.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bittersweet feeling. I feel, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you said, takeaways and finishing in fifth place in a region as stacked as VCT Americas is not something that one would scoff at, but still, it's a pretty commendable showing by all regards. Taking on the likes of Sentinels and MIBR or Resurgent MIBR at that. And so, what do you feel is your biggest takeaway from just this experience? Just competing in kickoff and just having to build experience right before the start of the actual season following Madrid.
Yeah, I think we can, take what we learned from this entire tournament and put it into scrims and just, review all our matches, see our mistakes, see what we could have done better, and with some match experience and some stage experience, we can really excel and maybe be a top three team in split one and split two.
What about your performance in particular? Because I mean, I feel you were the only person that, when it comes to looking at all the other teams in the league, that just played one agent in Viper. And how do you view your performance in particular? Be it good or bad, in your eyes.
I don't feel like I played relatively good or bad. I felt like I was just kind of doing my role and trying to do as best as I can to support the comms and, just trying to make sure the round flow is all good and we're in the right spots on defense and we're in the right spots on attack and just trying to do my role. That's what each player can only do, right? Every player has to do their role and that's how the team wins. So I think I wasn't like killing everybody every single round, and no one was like plus 20 or like plus 10 every game, but we were just all kind of doing our role pretty well, and that's really what got us the wins in those games.
How do you think the team has evolved with Leaf as the new duelist, as the new team member? Of course, although I say this at the early start of the year and with the regular season not actually starting officially, at this point in time, but still, how have you viewed the evolution of the team so far after competing in kickoff?
I think we have a lot of promise with this roster, and I think once we get our foot on the gas and stop messing up these little rounds and these 3v1s and the 2v1s, and we stop letting people clutch on us, I think we'll be very good heading into split one. I think we have a lot of promise.
Yeah, and looking at the entire or looking at all of the matches that G2 has played, you guys have had kind of been struggling to close out rounds. Is this a kind of an issue that your teammate Jonah P mentioned to me shortly before I started talking to you for this conversation, and how that kind of was a contributor to G2's ultimate elimination from this competition, and that said, what do you think prohibits this team from just um from having to close out rounds when they need to? When the situation necessitates that. What do you think prohibits you guys from just making that happen?
I think nerves play a big factor. I think we're all pretty like decently nervous going into the matches just because it's our first time on that specific stage and our first time in VCT Americas, and just some hectic comms, and some people aren't on the same page, and then it gives them an opportunity to capitalize. And I think most of the time those people or everybody in this league is going to capitalize on that because everyone is mechanically talented. That's why everyone's here, and so you give them an inch, they take two. So it's just how it is. We got to play diligent. We got to be we just got to play our game and make sure we're all doing the right things. And I think a lot of the rounds will go our way more.
One more question before I wrap it up. As I said before, that the team finished in fifth place at the end of their run in kickoff. Just being the only the first team to get out of the playoff picture. that said, how do you view the team's current level compared to the rest of the league, now that you guys now basically watch from the couch, figuratively speaking, from now up until the start of the year?
I think we match up pretty well against most of these teams, and like I said before, I think we clean up some of these rounds, and they don't win the eco round or they don't win a 3v1, or we clean up some of these rounds that shouldn't be lost, and all these close games go our way. So I think like I said before, we have a lot of promise with this roster, and I think in split one and split two we'll just be way better, and we're gonna come out and show that to everyone. So I hope everyone's ready for that. All these games were super close, like OT games, 13-11, 13-10, 13-9, all super close, and a couple rounds that don't go your way just takes it out of control. Super momentum based, especially with all these teams. Everyone's super momentum based, and they just get that from eco round or a clutch, and they just take it from there. So that was definitely the fall off of us.
Of course, and even so, this will hopefully be the start of a much better showing from you guys in the future. So, Trent, thank you so much for taking the time. Commiserations also again for the
Thank you.
elimination, and hopefully you guys are able to bounce back for the future. So that's it. Take care, man.
Thank you. Have a good night.